Morning and welcome to my beautiful city. I want you to know I filmed this part last of this episode on the philosophy of photography. It's like one of those ladderback woodpecker type guys. I'll be right back, hold on. Well, dang. He was backlit. The time I finally grabbed focus, he flew away. It makes me sad. But there's plenty of those guys around. I'll get to it when I stop talking to you. Anyways, the part you're about to see, I ramble a little bit, but there's a point to it. And then I'll come back later and say what I really wanted to say. Sum it all up as we get shots of the sunrise over the state park. See you again in a bit. And I don't only have a special affinity for those little ladderback woodpeckery guys, but also for scissor tails. You don't see them very often, but I got to see if you caught one even flying, couple flying. Counted 4 or 5 of them all together here, which is really cool. Anyways, I'm gonna start a new segment, and that's this. Question to answer in the comments. Question to answer in the comments this time is, do you struggle with lens selections? Because I just feel like there's always so much I want to do in any one given situation. And I've got just a couple of camera bodies and a couple of lenses. And so I have two 17-50 2.8s from Sigma. One of them's broken and being worked on my workbench right now. The other one is doing a time lapse. And so the only other wideish lens that I brought was this one. And I don't always like using such a wide lens. But then I also have, and you're not gonna vlog with that ever. That's not gonna happen. So I wish I would have had like my 18-135, which is kind of a cheap kit lens, but it's good for time lapses. I'd have left it behind. Anyways, how do you deal with the constant struggle of having to pick a lens to bring on a long walk? Let me know in the comments below. Keely doesn't know that even if we weren't videoing it, my lapel mic got that. I'm gonna just play her freak out for you.
What am I helping with?
I don't want to do that today.
What?
Do the black and white.
Stop! Do you know how hard this was to get in? Kyle!
That's what she said about the last thing.
But this one's really hard.
This is one of the problems with like being artistic and creative, is you change your mind a lot. I didn't really even change my mind. I wasn't serious when I said put it on.
You said it.
I know,
Let
but I
your
was.
yes be yes and your no be no. The rest comes from the enemy. Oh, bam.
She just Jesus juked me. Do you see that? This was all supposed to start at 5.
It's now like 6:30.
Did you hear that? It's like 6:30 now. It's fine. Whatever. Last one out has to lock the door.
Mother of God.
All right, let's go. Stangos.
Yes. Stangos is never a bad idea.
So yeah, philosophy of photography. The next episode was, what was it going to be? I told you this last time, Samantha.
You expect me to remember these things. The last time we did a video, I was really not in the mood. at all.
You were really cute in that video, though.
I was killing it, man. It was great.
Wow, I want to be a glow stick for Halloween.
Wow, that shoot was frustrating. Man, I tell you. So we didn't end up shooting most of the stuff that we planned to, especially related to the philosophy of photography stuff. So I'm just going to tell it to you now. This is going to get extra philosophical. So there are a few different ways historically to view the world. And one of the most fashionable ways these days is called materialism. And materialism says that there is only physical stuff. And anything other than just regular physical stuff, it's just a figment of your imagination. And your imagination, of course, is simply an accident of, chance and matter and energy all combining in a particular way. In the West, it's fashionable to think that way, or at least to say you think that way, but nobody lives that way. For instance, mathematics is not material, but it seems to be objective. Whatever our definition of morality is, we seem to be as convinced about it as we are about math. And so I really can't accept materialism. No matter what you say it is, there is something more to existence than only physical things. Another way of looking at the world is dualism. Dualism says that you have physical stuff over here and you've got spiritual, mental, whatever you want to call it, stuff over here. And they're separated. And most dualistic systems will say the physical stuff is bad, the spiritual stuff is good. We tend to live that way. But I don't know that that's the case either. I mean, anybody who believes in a spiritual realm will acknowledge that there are aspects of that realm that are not good and aspects of that realm that are good. And so often I see physical stuff and spiritual, mental, however you want to call it, stuff, physical and immaterial things kind of bleeding together. One has an effect on the other, or the other has effect on one. So I don't know that they're really that separable. So that leads us to the third view, monism. And monism is the idea that there is no real distinction between the physical and the spiritual. It's that's not accurate. It's more accurately a rejection of dualism. It's the idea, I guess in my view more, it's the idea that the physical and spiritual things both have a common source. And that source is good. Therefore, inherently, the physical and spiritual things are intended to be good. And where those things become bad, it's because we've misused them. We've misapplied them. We've taken them out of their intended context. So what's this got to do with photography? I didn't want to throw away the footage I shot that you just watched. But I also didn't want to leave it to stand by itself because it's a concept and an idea that I'm still grappling with. I just saw a cool shot. I'm going to finish this thought in a second because look at the fog over there. I started thinking about this when I started photographing people more, and it became something I really had to think about. Where does spirituality and the physical world, what have they got to do with each other? It really bleeds into every area of loving, photographing, making art out of the physical world. Like I explained with monism, there is not a physical realm and a spiritual realm, or a physical realm and a mental realm. And there's not only physical and there's not only spiritual. There's one reality with these different facets, but they're all one thing altogether. I feel like when we create art, especially when that art is so physical as photography and video are, we have to keep that in mind, that we are not doing something that's only physical. You're never doing something that's only physical, and we're not doing something that's only spiritual, obviously. But instead, we're operating in this more complex reality. So how do you take, like, let's say you've got time, you know, 3 dimensions in space, time, but then like maybe this 5th dimension of the spirit or the mind or whatever you want to call it. I'm not into semantics right now. How do you take these 5 dimensions and present them in a 2-dimensional image? That's tricky. That's tricky. And so the main point is, consider what you do as a photographer as a spiritual activity, because everything is, everything should be, everything is supposed to be. That's the point. And I forgot sunglasses, so we're using the shadow of the camera. Anyways, I hope this has been entertaining, thought-provoking, valuable, encouraging, edifying, something to you. If not, here's like video and photos I've taken recently. Thanks. See you next time. God bless you. Bye.